Civic Summit is made possible in part by Texas Mutual Insurance, providing workers' compensation for Texas employers.
Good evening, I'm Judy Maggio. Welcome to KLRU Civic Summit, Austin Together. As a country and a community, we are collectively grieving, anxious, angry, and exhausted. One way we can all search for solutions and real change is honest dialogue, listening to one another with open hearts and minds and mutual respect. So we're really here for a purpose tonight, to identify common ground and make concrete commitments to create a community of kindness and understanding. Sounds simple, but it's tough to get there. Helping me moderate this important discussion tonight are two people who have led similar discussions, Ronald Levada and Vincent Harding. We're trying something different tonight. We want to introduce Stacy Weitzner. She's a graphic artist, and she's going to create a graphic recording, a wonderful remembrance of tonight's comments in our Civic Summit. Ron?
Thank you, Judy, and a big thank you to all our crowd who came here tonight. We have a packed audience. These are important issues that we need to discuss openly and frankly. And here are the three objectives that I'd like to discuss with you right now. And for the folks at home, this is what we're going to be talking about. First, we want to discuss what barriers exist to find real solutions and change. Second, we want to talk to the people, groups, and ideas working right now to make a difference. And finally, we'd like everyone here to commit to some type of actionable way that you can encourage change. Vincent?
Well, thank you, Ron. Let's get this conversation started. First up, we have Lisa with Undoing Racism Austin to talk about some of the barriers that exist in our community.
I think one of the barriers that we face is this belief and illusion that everything in Austin is perfect and that everything is just fine and we can all get along and it can all be nice and everything is okay. When in fact, every system in Austin, health, education, criminal justice, African Americans are disproportionately affected. Racism, Austin has a long, sordid, evil history of racism, long before the 1928 master plan to divide the city. And until we begin to recognize that history and the consequences it's had for residents in this community, and until we as a community can honestly talk about racism and not just about civil rights, but people are dying, and people in this community are dying, and people are angry and are hurting and exhausted. And so I'm grateful for this space, but I'm also really urging people, particularly white people, to figure out what is that privilege that we have? How do we begin to step up, share power? And there's a lot more that this conversation can have, and I have limited time. But thank you. Let's overcome that barrier of that illusion that everything is okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Great point. Everything's not okay. We have really a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of hurt to overcome. Rosanna Barrios is here to talk about barriers. What barriers do you see in our community?
Some of the barriers that I see in my community and our community are simply that there are so many people out there that feel like they don't have a voice or that they don't matter. And I feel like everyone in this room this evening knows what I'm talking about, because you've touched somebody's lives who feels that they don't have the voice to come forward and speak about what it is that holds them back. I think that this is a tremendous opportunity that we have here this evening to not only start the conversation among us, but start the conversation with people that you know who have been impacted by whatever that issue might be, and help them to find their voice and bring them forward. So it is definitely about community and reaching out to the people and encouraging them and giving them that confidence to have their voice.
Giving them a voice. Thank you, Rosanna. Ron?
Judy, I'm here now with a longtime Austin journalist, Charlotte Moore. And Charlotte, you're also a native of Austin, too. So you've seen a lot of changes throughout your life, although you're only 18 years old, though, right? Yeah. Okay, tell us a little bit about breaking barriers and what you've seen.
Yeah, breaking barriers. I think the key thing is honesty, and as you said before, being frank. We have to have open and honest communications about what's happening. Austin's a great city, but we're divided. Just like with I-35, we know the history. There are remnants of animosity and angst and anger, and we have to get beyond it.
Move on.
We have to move on.
Thank you, Charlotte. Vincent?
Thank you. I am joined here by, going to give her a hand. I am joined here by Ryan Rushert, who's going to talk about willful ignorance.
I don't think that it's a stretch to say that some people pretend there isn't a problem to make a sort of a political point. We have to acknowledge it, and I don't think we can let it slide with other people, and we can't let them deflect to a different issue. This problem doesn't take precedence, or it isn't the most important because some other problem exists. This is real. We can't deny it, and I don't think that we can reasonably let other people deny it.
All right, well, thank you. It's time to face the facts.
Jefferson has called Austin home for what, about 20 years? What do you see as some of the barriers preventing us from understanding and being kind to one another?
I think one of the barriers is having an honest dialogue about the problem, but also opening our eyes to the reality that Black people are being killed by cops. And we need to say that we're not against cops. We don't condone police, the brutality on cops. We don't condone that at all. All we're asking for is equal protection under the law. And so I think we need to open our eyes that if there is smoke, then maybe there's fire. Maybe there's fire.
So you see that as a barrier. Thank you.
I also want to say that you ask a lot for us to be polite, but we're tired. You ask us to be peaceful, but we're tired. And you have to take a look at that. You're asking a lot of people to ask for something that should have been given to us.
It's hard work, I know, Lisa. Thank you for your honesty. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Moving on to barriers in education, and joining me is Malcolm Connor. And Malcolm, what do you talk about as far as education barriers?
Hi, well, I just kind of want to talk about, Texas textbooks, they set a precedent for the rest of the nation because Texas sends out most of its textbooks to the rest of the nation, right? And just recently there was an instance in which slaves were described or called immigrant workers as opposed to slaves. And so, I think in order to kind of move the conversation along, there needs to be this lack of whitewashing of history in which we actually have a true understanding of where our nation has come from. And so that way we can kind of work to guide our nation in a way that actually works to improve the system of oppression that still exists today. So.
All right, barriers in education. Thank you, Malcolm. Great insight there. Thank you. Vincent?
And I am joined here by Jennifer Hostin, who has a heart to serve and a heart to help, but doesn't really know how. So she's going to talk to us about that.
Thank you. It feels self-indulgent to say, I don't know what to say, I don't know where to start, but I want to help, and I'm here for the people who are in pain. And it's really difficult to know the words to use, and I'm a professional speaker. But that's not enough, and saying that I don't know isn't enough, and that's why I'm here. I think that's why a lot of us are here. So knowing the language that you can use, the things that you can say, looking straight into someone's eyes and saying, I'm here for you, is what I want to do.
I think that's an important point. And you're talking about barriers. Stephanie, what would you like her to know? Stephanie Webb is here. She's a lifelong Austinite. What would you like her to know about? What would you like to hear her say, or what language would you like for her to use? Because sometimes we feel helpless to know what to do.
Well, basically, because we were beginning with education, I would say that there's an expectation that certain types of people are smart. A lot of that stems from the fact that AISD headquarters are located off of 2 bus lines, 421 and in West Austin, in a very inaccessible place for most of the city. Basically, as an AISD graduate, born and raised in Austin, I think it becomes important for people to stop seeing people of color as basically there's no way you could possibly be that smart, to stop educating their children with the notion that people of color have no intelligence. Only in the United States, really, is it politically acceptable to say if you have any modicum of intellect that you share with the world, you're acting white. So that's a phrase that definitely needs to stop.
That's language.
And we're going to go right back here to Jennifer to respond to those comments.
It's disheartening to hear that people think that, because it's my privilege to know so many people who are intelligent and wonderful, and they have such a way with words and are articulate, and they happen to be of a minority. But again, I don't even know if that's okay to say. It's a very difficult road to traverse. But I will try to use the right language and to reach out and to speak.
And I just want to thank you so much for expressing that heart to serve and the heart to help. Just keep trying. We're all here to help you out here, and that's why we're all here tonight.
That's right.
Jordan Bass joins me now, and he wants to talk about the need for more conversation and also more compassion.
Yeah, so I guess I wanted to start it with responding with what Lisa was saying and back you up on that. That is quite, like, I won't use language, but that is a lot to ask of a community that has hundreds of years of oppression, and not only that, but evidence of oppression right now going on in land of the free, home of the brave, like not from where they're sitting. And so, like, we as a community of white people, we need to have the strength, the courage, the patience to listen to that frustration, because that is eating up our brothers and sisters alive because they got nowhere to put it. Because as soon as they start saying something, now it's like, oh, another angry black person. And no, man, like, you would be livid if that was the case. And so, yeah, I just wanted to back you up, Lisa, on that, because that's the truth. Like, that's a lot to ask of people, to be calm, patient. Oh, like, how we doing? And so, you know, I promise, like, I'm jumping the program a little bit. Like, my commitment is, and I've already been doing it this week. Like, I've been talking to my white friends. Anything like needs to be done, like open up the conversation. So I promise to do that. I would also just ask, whenever you get fired up, realize, like, me personally, I didn't put anyone in slavery. And so, like, just ease off of me just a second, like, but unload on me, that's cool. But no, we need to come together and really, you just, like, this is a beautiful thing that we're doing, and this really speaks to the fabric of our society and the dream that we're trying to do. So,
Very
yeah,
good.
thank y'all.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. Judy?
We're going to talk about making commitments, but the second thing we really want to tackle tonight is some positive things that are going on in the community. I want to shine the light on those, because we are making strides toward breaking some of those barriers. There's a lot of hard work ahead. But let's talk about what work is going on right now to bring about positive change and encourage mutual respect. And I think Vincent is going to be talking with a community leader about that. Vincent?
Yeah, I'm actually joined here by Reverend Joseph Parker, who is also an attorney here in town. He's going to tell us a little bit about some of the things he's doing to make a difference.
Well, for a number of years, there have been groups of ministers and pastors throughout the city that have been joined together in what we call covenant groups. In my judgment, one of the greatest influential groups in the city is the faith community. And one of the things that needs to happen is those of us who are faith leaders need to make sure that in our own circle of friends that we have diversity. And that's one of the things I've challenged communities to do, and congregations, whether they are Muslim or Jewish, that they ask their pastors, their religious leaders, who is in your inner circle that is of a different background. And that will be a real indicator of where that minister, rabbi, or imam is. One of the things that has happened positively out of those relationships is that we have had very deep, sometimes controversial and sometimes conflicting conversations. But they have been raw, they have been honest, and I believe I've journeyed with a group now for almost 20 years in that relationship. And I believe that each of them would say that we have grown a lot, we have learned, because we have embraced what I call the ethics of humanity. We see each other, we trust each other, we hear each other, and we learn from each other.
Well, thank you, Reverend Parker. You can preach.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Joining me now is Chaz Moore, and he was the co-founder of the Austin Justice Coalition. And what is your group, Chaz, doing to make a difference here?
Well, besides carrying on these type of conversations, which is great, but at some point we also have to stop talking and do some action. And I think the biggest action for all of us in the room is to unlearn. I think we have to. If you're white, you have to unlearn your privilege. If you're black, you have to unlearn that I'm less than, right? I'll give you an example. Black people, by a show of hands, how many of us would want to be treated like our white counterparts in this country today? Like, if you're black, would you want to be treated white? Raise your hands. Yeah. So, but watch this though. White people, how many of my white allies in here? Seriously, white people. How many white people in here will want to be treated like black people or a person of color in this country today? So I think it comes with the unlearning and learning what privilege is and learning what equity is. We need to stop saying equality. We need to say equity. A lot of these incidents, like what happened in Dallas, God forbid, it's pent up because we're getting killed on TV. We're watching that every day. We got PTSD, post-traumatic slave disorder, and equity. We don't have the same access to resources that you have. And then people come in here and tell us that we have to be peaceful and calm down. We're angry. And we just want equal access.
And so what other than that and unlearning, what is your group doing then?
Well, with the Austin Justice Coalition, we're actually teaming up with Lisa with the Undoing Racism. We just raised money for that to get a bunch of different people throughout the city, people that work in the city, people in the community, to come learn what racism actually is. We're starting a Saturday school program to teach black and brown kids true black history, not the stuff they're reading in these washed down textbooks. We're doing a march tomorrow, and we're asking APD to come out and march with us, because in Austin, we're not going to do Dallas. It's the system that's the problem. It's not the people. The system has taught us to do only one thing and hate each other and divide one another. It is a way to be black and like being black, and be white and like being white, and still live in harmony. And that's what my group is all about.
Thank you, Chaz. Thank you. Judy?
And so well said, and that's why we're all here tonight. And you have another, Tasha Morrison is here, you have another positive thing that's going on with your group in Austin.
Yes. Like she said, my name is Tasha. And one of the things that we're doing is with Be the Bridge. It's actually called Be the Bridge to Racial Unity. And one of the things that we're doing is working through the church. I'm also on staff at Gateway Church. And so one of the things I notice, even as a Christian, I've noticed that we all stay in our racial boxes. And so a lot of us, if you think about it, how many friends do you have that look different from you, or maybe vote different from you, or maybe, talk different than you? And so what I notice is that huge divide, that racial barrier that's created, that separates us. And so we have these conversations, and so we have several groups around the country where we come together and we use a curriculum to kind of start these conversations within the church, because although the church is supposed to be a part of the answer, a lot of times we're a part of the problem. And so we want to start these conversations now within the church and also outside of the church. So that's one thing that we're doing.
Oh, wonderful. We need to get all of our boxes, right? Thank you, Tasha. Stay here for 1 second. I want to remind everybody that you can join this conversation at hashtag ATX Together on Facebook. Hashtag ATX Together on Facebook. We really want to hear from the folks in the viewing and listening audience at KUT. Okay, Vincent.
All right, I am joined here with Patrick Patterson, who is the president of the 100 Black Men of Austin here. He's going to talk about some of the great things they're doing.
Well, first of all, I just wanted people to know we do have an Austin chapter of 100 Black Men in America. And if you're an African-American man, we need you. You could Google us very easily to find us, how to contact us. We're all about mentoring in the school, so that's what we do. We're growing. We're hitting about 20 kids right now. My goal is to have 100 active African American men in the community, mentoring at least 100 African American boys. That's one goal. But I'm also part of the Greater Austin Area My Brother's Keeper initiative. I'm a co-chair of the Early Education Committee. And our goal is to provide every newborn male of color in the Greater Austin area a set of library books age 0 to 5. We need your help there. We're about 40% already. We can get it done. I thought it was impossible at first, but now we think we get it done. So I'm easy to find. I work at UT. Go to directory, Patrick Patterson, if you want to help with any two of those initiatives, 100 Black Men of Austin or the Greater Austin My Brother's Keeper initiative. Thank you.
I'm here now with Adrian Rocha. And Adrian, how would you make a difference?
Sure. Before I worked for UT, I worked for the Southern Poverty Law Center, and one of the things you have to realize is that being cognizant of your own oppression and discrimination is in and of itself a perverted privilege, because it takes knowing those things, and when you live in a homogenous community, be it all black, all white, or all Hispanic, you don't face the same problems as other people outside of your own community, so that's just the status quo. And as Chaz said earlier, it's putting yourself in touch with those resources. Well, you don't know those resources exist if you've never had them in your community. And one of the things that you can do, and we had great success with the SPLC, is get outside of your own community and talk to those communities and advocate on their behalf to your city councilman. Make their concerns your concerns and advocate on their behalf. Because when you're working 2 jobs a day just to keep the minimum wage, you can't make it to city council meetings. So find that person that can, have them list their concerns, and make them yours.
Good points. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. Judy?
Great ideas, positive things going on in the community. Dr. Charles Moody is here, and you have another positive thing to share.
Yes, I'm the pastor of The Rock, and one of the things that I encourage my congregants to do is move beyond the courageous conversation to activity in the community. We started a local program where we have retired officers, retired APD officers who are African American, who will sit down, and they've sat down for some 3 hours with our youth and talk about how to encounter officers and what happens. And they use videos, and their special, one of the guys, his specialty was use of force. So he sits down and talks about, let's look at this video, what should happen next, how the officer will respond, and teaching our children and our youth how to respond appropriately. We understand that there are many times where even an appropriate response it may be disregarded, but we want to give them every opportunity to go home safe. We've also started several programs dealing with health equity in the city. I'm the chairman of the Austin Black Health and Wellness Coalition, and we are now looking at how do we address the health and wellness inequities in the city. So we're looking for local providers who are actually dealing with health issues, and we're trying to bring them together and trying to empower them. And we're looking for funding and real programming and getting people not just talking about it, but literally active in the community with support.
So if people want to help these wonderful programs that you've just described, how can they do that?
They can contact me directly at the church, the Rock of Round Rock, or they can roundrock.org.
Got it.
And I'm thinking they could talk to me directly after this.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Moody. We appreciate it. Great points. Vincent?
It's been great to hear so many awesome things that are going on. I'm here joined by Tam Hawkins, who's the president of the Greater Austin Black Chamber of Commerce.
This dialogue is really important. It's great to see us all come together. There are so many challenges that we face as a city that just don't affect African Americans, but affect the city as a whole. And one of the ways that I think we can combat some of the injustices is through economic development and getting involved in organizations that speak to you, that don't necessarily look like you, but speak to the issues at hand. And so what we try to do is employ efforts that make certain that there's economic parity. Chaz spoke of equity over equality, and that's really important. It's important that we get that understanding that there's a vast difference between the two. It is the other part of Dr. King's dream, is economic parity. And so if you really want to get behind a movement, get behind $1. So.
Whew. Economic empowerment. You can't say enough about that. Kick it over to Ron.
Thank you so much, Vincent. I'm joined now by Thelma Williams, a very familiar face here in Austin. She's a leader of her neighborhood association in the St. John's area. And Thelma, what is your group? What are you doing to make a difference?
Okay, I'm vice president of Neighborhood Association, and I work in the St. John in my association. And every day we are pleading for people in our community to come out and make a difference by working in the association. You don't have to go to the city council. You can go to your neighborhood association and get to work. There's a lot of things that need to be done. Yeah, we have a hard time getting the president, getting the vice president. I have the community picnic at my house. Every year, we have a hard time getting people to come and eat free. Let's get to work. That's thing you can do besides sit and complain and moan and groan. Each one of you can do the work that you can do. Just get started doing something. I'm so tired of everybody sitting around complaining and doing nothing. Nothing. The NAACP, they're doing a lot. We can do more. Chamber of Commerce, doing a little. They can do more. We'd like to see you do something. Go to all the meetings that I go to. Go for the gentrification meetings. Go for the different places. You're never there. So who's doing anything? Thank you.
Go Thelma. Judy?
I got to tell you, Thelma means business. I like you, Thelma. I want you on my team. Before we talk to the Austin Police Department, I want to read a comment on Twitter. We're talking about positive things going on in the community right now. I'm learning so many great things. This is Jana June on Twitter said, Austin Peace and Justice Coalition starting a Saturday school to teach non-whitewashed history. So that's one thing going on in the community to battle insensitivity and hate. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well,
I know it's a tough day for a lot of the police officers across the country, and our hearts go out to you.
I appreciate that. I think it's a tough day for America as a whole, and we're a subset of that, and I think we're all suffering from what's gone on, tragedies across the country. But it's dialogue like this that's going to, hopefully bridge some of that gap. And even though I'm having to follow Thelma's very eloquent speech,
nobody wants to follow Thelma.
I drew the short straw on that one. I'm not here to try and sell the Austin Police Department to y'all. I'm very proud of our department, but we're an imperfect department and we're an imperfect profession, just like all of the professions that each one of you work in. We strive for the best, and that's what we're here to talk about. We have a lot of programs that I think are successful. We work to reach the youth at a young age so that we can show them policing and the positive side of policing. We have PAL programs, Explorer programs. We had a young activist come to us a while back with an idea about a program called Measure Austin, and we brought her in and ended up working with many members of the activist community here in Austin, and I think that we've got a pretty positive program to show for that. But at the end of the day, I think maybe the strongest thing that we have here that I don't always see in other major city police departments is openness and transparency. I can't think of another police department across this country that in the wake of a critical incident, a police shooting, whatever your thoughts are on it, that actually reached out to the activist community, brought in Black Lives Matter, brought in Austin Justice Coalition, brought in Measure Austin, and sat down and had a conversation with them and brought them in on the front end. And so, although we are imperfect, and although I wish I could tell you we would never have another critical incident here in this community, we all know that's not the case. But I stand here to tell you that we strive to provide the best level of service we can to you as your police department, and we're proud to be members of your community.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Vincent.
Next up, I have Courtney Robinson, who is the founder of Excellence and Advancement Foundation.
Thank you. I'm so happy that we have a forum like this because it allows us the opportunity to talk and to hear about what is going on in the community. We already have a weekend school. It's called the Black Leadership Academy. So I look forward to working with Chaz and the Justice Coalition to make it bigger and better. We had our first graduating class this past May. The next session starts in September. We had one brave white family who allowed their son to participate in the Black Leadership Academy. And it changes children's lives. And if we can begin to talk to children about what race really means, then they won't end up in sessions like these. We want our children to understand what it means to say black, to say white, and not be afraid to say it, and to have the language to talk to each other about what it means to be black or white in this country and how we all work together in those great and positive ways. And so I'm very happy that we're here to talk about the systematic problem of racism and how we break those things down.
And I want to thank you so much for investing in the next generation. It will make Austin better.
Thank you, Vincent. Here, making a difference, according to Teresa Chang, she's the co-coordinator of One Human Race. Tell me about One Human Race and what they are doing, what you are doing to make a difference in the Austin community.
We are a ministry of the Myra McDaniel chapter of the Union of Black Episcopalians, and I know I'm not black, but I am an Episcopalian. We hold workshops, free workshops throughout the year, where we provide a safe and productive environment to learn and share about race. And you can reach us at onehumanrace.info.
And how's it going?
It's going great.
You got a lot of participation?
We've had quite a bit of, I think we've probably had about 300, 250 people over the course of this year.
And so how are you all making a difference then?
All of those people understand in a new and deeper way how racism came to be in this country. They all understand in a new and deeper way how to engage in this process. They have all made connections across communities that they can follow up on.
So they're making commitments.
Many of them are making commitments.
Very
yes.
good. And once again, the group is called One Human Race. Thank you, Teresa Chang. Judy?
Before we get to Damon Luckett, I want to read a comment on Twitter. This is another positive thing. This is from Jay the Rick. Where-U. Where-U is an app, and this identifies black-owned businesses in your area. Another positive thing going on. Damon Luckett is here to talk about some positive things that you've observed in Austin, things making a difference.
That's a relative statement. In this very studio, I listened to the author of No Child Left Behind.
Oh, right.
And he smirkingly admitted that it was a horrible bill, but it was had a catchy name and you couldn't vote against it. So I'm here wondering if we can take score by figuring out how to close down prisons. I feel like if we close prisons, take score by closing prisons, we take some of the pressure off police for meeting quotas and filling those beds.
Mm-hmm. So you think that would be a positive step in the right direction?
Very much.
All right. Thank you, Damon. Vincent.
And I am joined here with a teacher from Reagan High School, Trent Sharp.
Former teacher. I would suggest that our greatest strength and resource are having citizens that view diversity as our greatest resource, our most rich resource. My concern is that as Austin continues its rapid gentrification and we become more economically and linguistically and racially and culturally homogenous, that Austin itself becomes one-dimensional. And I look down the road to where my children growing up in 10 years, and I don't want to live in a homogenous place. And so I hope those of us who view this having a diverse society and having cross-pollination, that we're able to come together and have really serious conversations about housing and education and access to jobs, et cetera, to be able to maintain a diverse society and not have our diversity sit at the fringes of Williamson County and Hayes County and Caldwell County. If we want the city of Austin to be diverse, that demands action.
Ron?
Judy?
I'm here with Andrea Brower, and you have something positive to share with our group tonight.
Yes, hi. I want to say thank you to our Austin Police Department, first and foremost, for all you do. Thank you for Black Lives Matter and for all the advocates here today, because both voices are needed and both have something to share here today. I'm the director of a statewide gun violence prevention group called Texas Gun Sense, and I want to say a positive thing that happened to us is that Nelson Linder, the Austin chapter president of the NAACP, joined our board this year. And it's very important because, as we know, gun violence disproportionately affects the the African American community. But we need more people to join with us and demand reform in our gun laws so that we can see changes statewide. Until we have more people speaking up, we're going to have the same terrible mass shootings, suicides, homicides, and accidents through gun violence across the state. So we hope more people will join us. Please do.
And Nelson, come on over here. You know I was going to put you on the spot. Nelson Linders, the president of the NAACP here in Austin. You know, one of the issues that I find in the nonprofit communities are not a lot of African Americans on the boards. And these are the people making decisions that are helping Health and Human Services in our area. What can we do in that arena?
Can I depart just a little bit?
If you can do it in 1 minute.
About 55 seconds. I've heard about 1928. We've had 88 years to address that. Where are the resources? This is 2016. And secondly, you want unity, you want love, stop the killing of black men. We came here because of stimulus nationally and locally, right here in Austin. As long as we kill black men in this country unfairly, and there are some good cops, but there are some bad ones too. Until we stop that problem, we're going to have these recurring conversations. So let's be real. We've got to stop the killings where they are. If we can't stop the killings, we can't solve these problems. And secondly, again, everybody needs resources. Where are the resources? Check your council budget right now. They're writing the checks right now. We all pay taxes. That was less than 1 minute, right?
That was less than 1 minute. But you didn't tell me about the positive thing you're doing with Texas Gun Sense.
Well, as she said earlier, Andrea said earlier, black folks are affected by gun violence more than anybody else. You look at Chicago and other places around the country. We need to get involved, first of all, and make sure these communities have employment opportunities and address the flow of drugs. And secondly, we need to eliminate the illegal weapons. But this is essentially a culture and economic problem. If we have economic opportunities, we don't sell drugs. I tell people, who remembers Al Capone? He was shooting folks up a long time ago because prohibition. So if these communities have jobs and opportunities, guess what? You stop the violence, you get good schools, good jobs, and we have a more stable community. It's not that complicated.
It's all about resources. Nelson and Andrea, thank you both for your comments. Very good. Ron?
Many folks have probably heard about the program No Place for Hate, and that was coordinated by the Anti-Defamation League, and it's also been implemented in the Austin School District. And joining me now is the Chief of Police for AISD, Mr. Eric Mendes. And Chief, tell us a little bit about the kudos that AISD is getting as a result of this program being spread system district-wide.
Well, I think, first of all, the district recognizes that there's work to be done. In order for everybody to come together, we had to find a program that could help bridge those gaps, and No Place for Hate was one of those programs. And so No Place for Hate is through the Anti-Defamation League, and our district is the most recognized large district in the nation to be 100% No Place for Hate. We started out small with a few campuses, and the district has grown across the city, and every AISD campus is now, including our central office, is now part of No Place for Hate.
What did the students hear? What was the message that they got that made this program successful?
Well, it's more than just a message. It's coming together and working together. So we do social mixers across different campuses. We involve students, we involve staff, we involve central office staff. We get together, we work with one another, we do activities to help build and bond relationships so that we all work together as one.
Very good. Thank you, Chief Mendes. Thank you. Judy? Vincent?
Thank you. I'm joined by Michael Ward here, who's with Blacks in Tech.
Definitely. Hello, everybody. As stated, my name is Michael Ward. I'm part of Blacks in Tech. A quick synopsis of what exactly that organization is, and is exact as it states. A number of us in different technology companies, from Oracle to Google to Indeed to Visa, you name it, and we say, you know what, we need to come together and help out our fellow Black individuals out here who may find it a little bit difficult to find their way into big corporations. So that's kind of what we do to give back and kind of help them with development and just moving forward. And just overall, I want to commend every single person that is here, because within my own organization, within my own company, I'm increasing and stating we need more communication, we need more awareness, we need to let people know what's going on, not just in Austin, but what's going on in other parts of the U.S. as well. So definitely keep it up, keep spreading the word, and letting people know what you're trying to do here. It definitely makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
This rarely happens on live television, but I was just given a question from a viewer, and I have the person right here to answer it, and it's magical. Tina Cannon says, is anyone addressing the mental health gap within the community to the police department? And Candace Ayler is here, and you are with mental health. You're a mental health advocate in our community.
Yeah, I'm a parent advocate and on the advisory boards at the state level for the Health and Human Services Commission, also on our local ATCIC advisory committee, and several. I wear several hats. I'm a nurse. I'm a mom, but you know, with complete and total respect for the officers that are in the room tonight. I know some of y'all. I've been in meetings with some of y'all, and I know that y'all are wonderful guys. But I must say the name David Joseph to address this question.
And remember, we're trying to stay, we haven't gotten to that part of the program, but we're trying to stay positive, but go ahead.
But we cannot talk about this, because to answer that question, the gap is that we had mental health officers, yet David is dead. Right. And I feel like some of the gaps that I've been able to discover, and I don't know what they are yet, and I'm still trying to figure out how to work through this. But Chaz and I have met with David Evans with ATCIC, trying to find out if there's ways that we could collaborate more with the police department and our local mental health organization. But another piece of this, and I see where we could probably improve the training of our officers, and lots of different ways to look at that. But one other piece of it is that we don't allow our officers to need mental health and mental wellness. And there's a stigma across the nation, across our community, across our state, about actually talking about when somebody has a mental health need. And so I feel like if we could support our officers also, then that will really help our communities heal.
And I know that we have lots of mental health experts on hand, and there are efforts going on right now in a state, including the OK to Say campaign, where we need to talk about this because mental health issues are such a huge part of the conversation. Thank you, Candace. We have heard so many excellent points tonight and heard from folks doing great works in the community and heard about a lot of the problem areas, the anguish that's out there right now. We want to get to the part of the program where we're discussing what we can do as individuals or as groups to continue this conversation. And we're going to go around and hear from as many people as possible in this room how they're going to create a community of kindness and inclusiveness in Austin. What can we do? We want to leave this room with that type of commitment in the community throughout Austin. So, Ron, I think you have someone to talk about that.
I sure do. His name is Sumit Dasgupta, and he is a citizen, but also sits on the Citizen Review Panel for the Police Department. And you've been listening tonight, and you have also absorbed all the information here.
Come on over, you can talk about it.
Hey, we're going to go to me. I am here with Angela Ward, who works at AISD. Is going to talk about her outstanding work.
Hi, I'm Angela Ward, and I also come to you as a mother of 2 black males. So this week has been particularly difficult for me. But one thing that, thank you, Chief, for talking so eloquently about our No Place for Hate work in Austin ISD. One thing that we can do in our community to wrap around our schools is the No Place for Hate initiative and the campaign. All of our schools are required to do 3 activities every school year that focus on anti-bias, anti-bullying, anti-hate. One of those activities should be new, and it should focus on current issues. So I challenge you, inquire at your Austin ISD schools and ask them, how can we support you in developing that No Place for Hate activity this school year that's going to really help us move the needle and have some true dialogue and truly support our students in doing a better job of having the conversation that we as adults shy away from.
Thank you.
Children are such an important part of this conversation, and I know, being a mom, your heart breaks for all of the violence we've been seeing. Kimberly Iglesias is with us, and I know that you are part of a program about getting to know your neighbors, and that's a commitment you want to make and a commitment that you want to tell people about.
Absolutely. You know, the Bible encourages us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And if I could just ask the question, how many of you in here know 10 of your neighbors? At least 10. Okay, how many know more than 10? You got to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you've got to get out there and go ring doorbells and say, hi, my name is Kim. I'm new to the neighborhood. It's nice to meet you. I've got a daughter named Aaliyah and a son named Arel and a son named Kiman, and we live right up the hill. If you need anything at all, just knock on our door. We'll be happy to help you. But it's about us hitting the ground and making sure there's a conversation and dialogue that I know that your name is Shauna and that your name is Bill. I don't know that that's your name. Your name is Judy. But it's important. I can't see that far. I'm sorry, but it's important for us to know our neighbors' names, because what happens is when a stranger shows up at their door, you're like, excuse me, can I help you? Oh yeah, I'm here. Do you know their names? And they say, oh no, well, yeah, you need to move from their door.
And that's such, Kimberly, that's such a simple commitment we can all make. You know, maybe we all make a commitment to get to go know one of our neighbors that we don't already know. So I love that idea. Thank you. Ron?
Thank you, Judy. My apologies. Yes, very nice. To Sumit Dasgupta, my microphone wasn't working, so that's why I got cut off a while ago, okay? But you've heard everything here. You have absorbed all of this. You're on the citizen review panel, too, of the police department. What is the commitment you are making to bring change? What is it that you want to see in others?
Let me back up a little bit. I came to this country during the race riots of the 60s, and things looked very bleak then. But things improved over time, and because positive news begets positive news. But now, in the last few years, it seems like we're in the middle of a death spiral, no pun intended. And so, how do we get out of it? The way I think you get out of it is we've heard so many wonderful stories about different things that we are all doing as a community. Not enough is being publicized about it. We need to get all of these groups to get out there to the citizenry in the city and advertise it, get more people involved so that we can have this huge movement moving forward. This is a wonderful city, but we need to propagate the good things that we are doing here to the rest of the city, advertise it, have events like this more often throughout the city, so that we can all come together. Just look around here. Look around. This is what we want.
We want people not just to talk, we want people to take action.
Absolutely. And in fact, that is one of the reasons I joined the Citizen Review Panel, to bring my diversity to bear there.
Thank you for your commitment, Mr. Dasgupta. Okay? Vincent?
Thank you. I am joined by Linda Baker, who's going to talk to us about what she's going to do as a result of tonight.
Thank you. I think I'm going to stretch myself beyond the Brotherhood Sunday kind of conversations that a lot of people have been having here tonight. I'm going to stretch myself to confront the kinds of racist conversations that I hear around me and not be so afraid to challenge people around me who make assumptions about people, who don't challenge things you see in writing that you say, well, wait a minute, why did they mention that? And I guess I'm going to challenge all of you here tonight and you listening out there to do the same thing, to not be so afraid and to stand up and to recognize that we're all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are all in this together, including Belinda Matingo, and you have a commitment you want to talk about.
Yes, I have a commitment that I've made, and I invite everyone in this audience, because you can all do it as well. It is to vote. To vote for the leaders who understand what is needed in order for our community to make progress. I really stand with the police officers who have a very difficult job in communities across the country, and have also pointed out the fact that you don't need to have people with assault weapons who make their jobs much more difficult and much more dangerous. And that's one of the things that I believe, was mentioned earlier about sensible, gun ownership. Does not need to be assault weaponry that can kill many people at once. So voting in the leaders who understand that, who follow the recommendation of the police chiefs around our country who have asked for that, that would be an important step that we can all take. And not only vote yourself, but take several people to the poll with you.
We all need to vote. Yes, that's exactly right. Ron.
Thank you, Judy. I'm here with Beverly Thiel, and she represents a group called Red Bench. What is Red Bench's commitment to the community, and what is Red Bench all about, Beverly?
Red Bench was started by Dr. Betty Sue Flowers, who used to teach at the University of Texas. And the concept is that if you sit down with somebody and look at them eye to eye, all of a sudden the fear just begins to dissolve. So everybody is invited, and it's the last Tuesday of each month. You can go on, you can Google it and find Red Bench. What's so wonderful, I see a lot of Red Bench attendees here. Yeah, a lot of people are here. When I attended the last one, which was at the Buddhist temple on 360, next to me was a woman who was Hindu. Next to her was a Muslim. Next to them were two Native Americans. Then there was a woman from the Episcopal Church and a gentleman from Beth Israel Temple. And then two of us were Catholic. And we talk about things like dignity, balance, race, and you're not to proselytize, you're not to get into arguments, but the whole community comes together, and it's just wonderful. How many of you have been in a Buddhist temple? Okay, good. Well,
so you all are making a commitment to the community with the efforts of Red Bench.
Absolutely, and everybody's invited. Love to see you there.
Thank you, Beverly.
All right.
Vincent?
Thank you, Ron. I am joined here by Alicia Jackson, who's going to talk to us about what she's going to do in Pflugerville.
Hi, I am part of a group called Black Pflugerville. We aim to bring a little stability to all of the people that were displaced out of East Austin. We actually work with Dr. Courtney Robinson to redo the Black cemetery up there, and we do need help with that. So if you would like to take a month to help restore the Black cemetery, please let me know. But one of our members, Ashley Flash Gordon, has a Young Urban Art Meister program that she's starting in Austin on tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow at the Carver, and it's free for all the children so that they can art out their pain. And I'm also starting a Saturday thing called Cartoons and Cereal, and I'm going to introduce the kids to Black and Brown superheroes so that they can see somebody that looks like them. Everybody knows Tony Stark, but nobody, well, we all know Black Panther now, but, and I promise I won't show like Luke Cage on Jessica Jones. I won't show that one, but.
All right, well, thank you so much.
These are so many great commitments and a wide variety of ideas. Edward Kelly is here with a commitment.
I believe as a community, we need to make a commitment to stop accepting the rules as they are that are keeping the people who are supposed to protect us from being accountable to the same rules that we're accountable for. We started a petition to change the rules to where the cops are going to actually have to think twice before they act because they will be held accountable. So it won't affect good cops, obviously. It'll only affect the ones that are, doing the things that we're obviously all here to stop. It's at petition.com. It's hold cops accountable. And it's basically like, if you're being investigated, don't have it paid while you're being investigated for murder. If you're found innocent, get paid retroactively, but don't get a paid vacation.
Okay, so that's one of your commitments, is that you're going to continue this petition drive. Thank you so much for sharing that. Ron?
Thank you. I'm with Arlene Morris, and she says her commitment to the community and for others should be more prayer.
Yes, our country was built on Christian principles, and before our founding fathers got together, they prayed for 3 days. Prayer makes a difference. And I challenge each one of us to pray for more love, more understanding, all of that. But we have to yield to a higher power. That's what this country was built on. So my challenge is tomorrow morning, all of us in here, whoever you pray to, I pray to Jesus Christ, the Lord, my Lord and Savior. But whomever you pray to tomorrow morning, let's all be praying for more love in Austin, Texas, in the United States, in the world. Prayer makes a difference.
Thank you. Arlene Morris. Vincent?
And we'll go to our last individual for tonight, Ms. Tammy Jackson.
Hi, I just wanted to talk about the importance of contextualizing your privilege and understanding privilege is just not something that white men have exclusively, and understanding how to intersection that. So as a light-skinned black woman who is cisgendered, I can understand my privilege who is higher educated. The second thing you need to do is stop asking people of color, particularly black people, to teach you how to be an ally, to teach you how to do this job. If you feel some type of way, you have Google. We all have cell phones. Google good allyship and make sure those articles are written by people of color, and particularly black people that are talking about black issues.
Thank you. And Ms. Tammy.
Said we're not going to solve the problems overnight. Let's face it, we didn't arrive at this heartbreaking chapter in history overnight, and we certainly aren't going to come together peacefully overnight. But I want to think that tonight was a start. We had a lot of great ideas, we had great interaction, we had positive commitments, and we had great interaction on Facebook and Twitter. We appreciate all of you. Thank you all for caring enough to contribute here in the studio, for giving us your evening this evening, for all of you online for taking part and watching and listening. Let's all pledge to keep those commitments that we made. And together, Austin has the power to raise the bar and find positive ways to put the hate and violence behind us. Good night.
Civic Summit is made possible in part by Texas Mutual Insurance, providing workers' compensation for Texas employers.